Hey, this is Sidan, and this is my draft breakdown of the YCL Season 2. We are back for the YouTube Challengers League. Um, Last season, we actually had a really good season in the regular season. We did have like a bit of a rough start, but then we ended it strong. Second overall in our division, but basically tripped on the front at the start line when it came to playoffs. Uh, Made probably one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in a draft league. Um, if you want to see that match, you can see that it's that you'll see what actually happened. But yeah, so we're back for season 2. A lot has changed since then. Uh, Obviously, midway through season 1, we had a different change of commissioners, and now we have even changed a little bit on the structure of the league. Now there are 16 instead of 18 teams, and each team is gonna be having to draft 11 Pokemons instead of 10. We do have a budget of 720, increased a bit just to compensate. However, the goal is still the same. Let's try to make a good regular season. Let's try to make it through playoffs and hopefully get a deep run in the playoffs, with the hopes of getting the championship. Before we get into the draft, I mean, you guys know the YouTube Challenges League is full of just every single coach is a YouTuber, so check out their channel. There's some obviously returning ones, but there's quite a bit of newer coaches to this league. Oh, when I said new, I meant they're new to the YCL. I don't mean they're new to the draft leagues. Or that's just starting their channel. It's I'll have a link to all their channels below. But I mean, let's get into this. I tend to drag on a lot, so I'll try to make this as brief as possible. So for the first for the draft, it's what's interesting is that this time we had one extra tier, an S plus tier, worth 140 points. And then I think it's the same from last season, 120 and 180. Went down by 20 until being 20 the lowest. But the 140 tier, it actually had a lot of the very strong Pokemons, like Cinderace, like Dragapult, Celesteela. But it also had some of the Pokemons that are usually banned in draft leagues. And I found that very appealing. If you don't know, I actually pretty much never played competitive Pokemon. I more or less haven't played competitive Pokemon until what do you call it? Sword and Shield. Oh no, not Sword and Shield, but like just before Sword and Shield, Gen 8. I did play, I think, a few draft leagues in Gen 7 towards the tail end of it. And I only played draft league. I don't play like the Spogon tiers, the OU, or I don't play ranked on the game. So all my knowledge on how Pokemon's work is through draft leagues. So I'm always been interested in these Pokemons that are usually banned because I never get to see them. So going into the draft, I was hoping I'd get one of those Pokemons. I was feeling a little bit doubtful because I was 8th overall, smack bang in the middle, just like last season. But to my luck, to my luck, one of them, actually quite a few of them, did fall to me, and you know what, even though there was Cinder Ace there, Cinder Ace still wasn't taken at 8th. And honestly, I was tempted to to get Cinder Ace for the 8th time in a row. I decided, I still want to get that the Pokemon I'll probably never get to use ever again. And that is Tapu Lele. Like I said, I've never used Tapu Lele. I don't actually I have a general understanding of why it is banned. I think that was mainly from its Gen 7 run, because of it's pretty fast, 95 base speed. It's got good speed, 130 base special attack, which is incredible. But like with the psychic terrain, its psychics are boosted by 1.5 at the time. So if you slap a choice specs on it, then suddenly now psychics are doing 2.25 damage, and then that's not including stab, so that's probably now looking more than 3 times the damage. It's just coming from psychic. So of 180 power base move, so that's huge. Not 180, sorry, 80 base power move. I wish psychic was 180. No, I don't. Actually, I don't wish psychic was 180. But I was happy with this pick. Obviously, it's the only Tapu I've never it's the only Tapu I have yet to use. I get a strong fairy type straight off the bat. Of course, the psychic is the main move that you want to be trying to use on Tapu Lele, to my understanding, really. But it has good coverage. It can learn Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, I believe. I think it can learn Focus Blast. I think it can learn Focus Blast. So I didn't do a lot of. I don't know anything about Tapu Lele. Like I said, I only know competitive Pokemon through draft leagues, and I have never seen a battle with Tapu Lele before. So this is going to be a learning experience for me. As soon as I draft this, I had to hit the forums and try to figure out what kind of Pokemons would suit or teams up well with Tapu Lele, because I have no idea what does. I need some, probably I could theoretically make some, I could try to think it myself, but why try to break new grounds when there's probably the idea is probably explored. So there's not much I could say about Tapu Lele, because I don't actually know how to use it. I think my understanding, it does struggle a little bit against steel types. It is a bit frail, so it probably wants to get some new turners in. So that is kind of like what I just based my draft on. So obviously I made the Tapu Lele pick, and so I did some research, see what Pokemon's paired well with Tapu Lele, and there was 2 that kind of I saw quite a bit. Again, the other one was Cinderace, which was surprising to me, but because Cinderace can easily deal with steel types, that's why I think they became a good offensive pair. But there was another Pokemon that I think was even more people would say is teams up well with Tapu Lele. And I've been wanting to use this Pokemon for a long time. Oh no, I have used it once before, and that is Heatran. Heatran was the Pokemon I thought I was gonna get in Season 1, before it sniped just before I got it. But then again, Cinderace was there, so I don't know if even if Heatran didn't get sniped, I might have just gone for Cinderace at that point. Heatran was actually the very first Pokemon I ever drafted in a draft league. And I enjoyed using it. It was a fun Pokemon to use. There's not much to say. It's got a great typing, Steel and Fire. It has a great. I think it's a signature move, Magma Storm. I don't think any other Pokemon can learn it. It's the one of the few fire types that can learn Eruption. It has access to some good coverage moves, mainly Earth Power or what is it? Scorching Sands. Uh, it also does have Solar Beam. On top of that, it's just got great special attack. 130 as well. Just offensively, Tapu Lele and Heatran can do tons of damage. And Heatran just covers a lot of Tapu Lele's weaknesses. Intuitively, I'm not sure what Tapu Lele does for Heatran. Since Heatran generally, I think, is weaker to it's usually the water and bulky waters and bulky grounds that that give Heatran troubles, and I don't. Tapu Lele could probably, by sheer force, uh, you know, deal with those, but yeah, it doesn't intuitively go for me. It gives me a stealth rocker as well, so I'm excited to use Heatran again. It is a Pokemon that it has like lots of different sets. I'm a big fan of the Magma Storm Protect set, so I'll probably be running that a lot. Yeah, so like I just chose Heatran because it pairs well with Tapu Lele, and that is the only excuse I need to try to draft Heatran. So that said, I had the first two Pokemons, and I thought, okay, I've spent a lot of my points on this. I have 460 left. Let's try to get something. I was thinking to get something cheap, but probably not some. I'm probably looking at not getting 100-point Pokemon, which was a little bit upsetting because I saw Alakazam's in that tier, and it's one of the best expanding force users, which I wanted to abuse, given that I have Psychic Terrain. And the other Pokemon I was looking at really was Araquanid, because it does form that sticky webs. It does give me a water type, and I think it just works well with Heatran. But unfortunately, it did get sniped in round 3. So I didn't know what other water types to go with at that point. So I decided, you know what, I'll just get a grass type. A grass type deals with the bulky waters and bulky grounds that Heatran would struggle against. And I saw one that was, I think, can use the Psychic Terrain and do with Heatran's weaknesses, and that is Celebi. Celebi, being psychic as itself, gets the huge stab, or the huge bonus from Psychic Terrain. But on top of that, you can actually learn Expanding Force. So, yeah. So if you don't know Expanding Force, it's an 80 base power move, and it gets 1.5 damage to does 1.5 times damage to grounded opponents under Psychic Terrain. So 1.5 times the stab, another 1.5 to 2.5 altogether. If I have choice specs, then again we're doing over 3 times damage. But on top of that, it does, can deal with bulky grounds and bulky water types. So I'm glad I'm getting Celebi. Celebi was also in the first draft I ever been in. Funny enough, it actually helped me. It was clutch on probably my first ever win. I used a heal block and healing wish set on it. It was fun to use there. However, I know Celebi does have a lot of weaknesses, and when I say that, I meant has a lot of type weaknesses. It has weak to 7 different types. One of them is Bug, that's 4 times weak, but it does have 6 resistances. So, and I think it pairs well with Heatran. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. So I think with my top 3, I think I got a good offensive group of Pokemon. And for my 4th pick, I was thinking, okay, you know what? I've got a bunch of like really strong wall breaking Pokemons. I probably want a fast, cleaner, a sweeper, and ideally I wanted to like get it a dragon type because it's um to complete my fire dragon steel core. I thought about Flygon for a while, but I feel like it had the same base speed as Celebi, so it wasn't really being faster than these powerful Pokemons. It's only 5 base speed faster than Tapu Lele. So I wanted something faster, and there was one which I think ticks whatever Flygon does as well, except okay, no, not exactly, but it does what I need Flygon to do. What it does what I needed for my team that Flygon could also do, and that is Noivern. Noivern is fast, 123 base speed, I believe. This will be the first time I'm using Noivern. It is a special attacker. I think Flygon does have the flexibility of being mixed, so I lose a little bit there, but I'm still excited to use Noivern. It gives me a defogger, a U-turner that I think in tandem with Celebi can start getting momentum for me. It has 2 good abilities. I think Frisk is a great ability, and Infiltrator. So I don't have to worry about the substitute of Pokemon setting up on substitute. I had to deal with one last season, though I think I dealt with that pretty well. Honestly, I don't know much about Noivern. I can't say I do. I know it can learn, well, obviously it's a Dragonfly, so it knows Breaker Meteor. I think it can learn Hurricane. Otherwise, it probably learns Air Slash. It probably learned. I don't know what it learns actually. Sorry, I'm not. I didn't do full research into this. I know it can learn Defog and U-turn. That's all I needed to know at that point. I think it learned Giga Drain. Or something like that. I remember seeing like a weird grass move on it. So yeah, I'm excited. I think given that I have such powerful Pokemons, I think Noivern is just a good Pokemon to just clean up with. For my oh man, I think I'm getting a little bit long. I knew I was gonna drag on. Okay. For my next pick, I went with Mudbray. Mudbray is obviously just a bulky ground. Now, originally, I should say, after the draft ended, we had a grace period, and I actually changed a lot of my team. I think I changed 5 Pokemons. One of them was Mudbray, was 2 Mudbray. It used to. I did originally draft Mudsdale. But I think Mudbray does the same thing I wanted to do. It gives me a Stealth Rocker, it gives me a bulky ground type. I didn't need the offensive power that Mudsdale was going to provide because I already have very strong Pokemons. Though admittedly, looking at the stats of my team as a whole, I do miss the little bit of physical power. Otherwise, I think Mudbray is just going to be a useful Pokemon. Honestly, I don't actually even know if I'm going to use it that much, but I think there is going to be some teams that will be weak to it. And if not, at least it can mask some weaknesses in my team. I'll not really mask it, but yeah, it's just a Pokemon I think need. I think every team needs a good ground type. Or at least a ground type, ideally good. And so that's why I got Mudbray. Mudbray. I did downgrade because I need extra points, right? But yeah, that is the point of the Mudbray. For my next Pokemon, I was thinking I should really complete this, fire, grass, water core I started. And I wanted to get one pretty cheaply. And there was one that I thought, everyone says it's good, but I've never used it before, and that would have been Toxapex, but I got Marini instead. Everyone says Toxapex is good. I've faced quite a few. It's a little bit passive in my opinion, but it's why knock it? Like I can't. I've never used it, so why should I make a comment on how it is? I did that with Clefable, and the moment I used Clefable, now I wish I have Clefable now. Yeah, so I don't know how to use I've never used Marini. I assume it's going to be the same as Toxapex. Again, same with how Mudbray is the same as Mudsdale. I'm making a lot of assumptions here. Yeah, it gives me a Toxic Spike user, which is I think, I didn't bring it. I did have one in Whirlipede last season. Didn't really use it. I used it once, and it was clutch to victory for there. But yeah, it gives you a bulky water with Regenerator and Recover, so it's a Pokemon that's going to be hard to take down. It will need that Eviolite, much the same as Mudbray, so it'll be hard to kind of, if I'm forced to use both of them, it's going to be hard to get that item in, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, there's not much to say, I think. As a defensive Pokemon, I think defensive water types will need to know Skull and maybe a status move, and I think Marini does exactly that. So yeah, that's why I was going with. For my next Pokemon, I decided to go with. I need a knockoff user. That's what I was thinking at this point. I had 6 Pokemons, but oh well. I actually have Marini as a knockoff user, but at the time, I wasn't thinking that I had. I didn't know Marini knew knockoff, but so I thought I need to get a knockoff user, and I originally had Sneasel, but due to the trades, I have Scrafty at the end. Scrafty is actually the Pokemon that's actually caused me to, well, not caused, but it was the reason why I started making those big sweeping changes to my team. I won't get into the details, I guess, but basically, it came about on me thinking, what if I had Scrafty on my team? And yeah, it just snowballed from there. Scrafty is, I think, a Pokemon that last season I said I wanted to try using it because I used Scraggy last season, and Scraggy was surprisingly good. So, yeah, why wouldn't Scrafty be any worse? Maybe it may not be as bulky, I don't know, depending on how Eviolite. I mean, it does get a huge boost in its defensive stats, so I don't know, but it does have the advantage of using a different item, an actual item. It has 3 great abilities. Yeah, I'm excited to use Scrafty. It gives me a fighting type as well, and a fighting type that's not weak to Psychic, especially with Psychic terrain. That could be useful. Yeah, there's not much to say, I think. In terms of teaming up with Marini and my top 4 Pokemon, I think with those 4, Marini and Scrafty, I think they cover a lot of weaknesses and type matchups really well. So I think it's a great pick, great trade for me. Yeah, I haven't used Scrafty before. I used Scraggy to limit. I didn't use that Scraggy that many times, but when I did, I enjoyed it. So this is this is going to be an opportunity for me, I guess, to further explore it. Yeah, so for my next Pokemon, I went with, oh no, okay. Well, my next Pokemon, I just realized I don't have any. I had Noivern with Defog, but I really don't have any other hazard control options. Particularly, I wasn't sure if I really want defog as my main source of, hazard removal, because it does remove the terrain as well. Though thinking back now, I think using defog is actually good. I think if I eliminate the terrain, that means there's no way for Tapu Lele to just suddenly come in and then the terrain just ends. It should always be. It's easier to at least ensure that the terrain's up. But I did want a rapid spin user, and there was actually not a lot left at this point. Funny enough, but I see one that was pretty cheap. Actually, it was the cheapest you can probably get. But it is Wartortle. I think Wartortle is a great. Okay, well, I can't say it's a great Pokemon. I've never used it before. I've never used Blastoise either, but from what I can see, it's got some pretty good defensive stats. The main reason I really want Wartortle, not only because it can rapid spin, and it can learn the usual bulky water moves that need Scald and Toxic, but it can learn Flip Turn, and that's the advantage it has over Marini, in my opinion. Flip Turn, obviously a momentum move, but because it's a slow Pokemon, I get a slow Flip Turn, and that means I could safely get my Tapu Lele or Heatran or Celebi in. So I am excited to try to get this Pokemon, try to work this Pokemon. I think the Squirtle line did get Shell Smash this generation, so maybe I could try going for an offensive Wartortle. It'll be interesting, I think. However, we'll see how often I will even bring Wartortle. But I think it will be a useful Pokemon to have regardless. So, for my my next Pokemon, I end up getting well, I originally had Sock at this point, but obviously when I got Scrafty, traded in Scrafty, I didn't need two fighting types, especially the fighting types that weren't in the, how do I say, I didn't need a fighting type that was weak to Psychic, but that wasn't the only reason I drafted Sock. Sock was actually covering a speed gap, sorry, that I was uncomfortable with. So I needed a Pokemon that could, cover that speed gap. I originally wanted Double, but then that also got taken. So I ended up getting Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan, I think this is gonna sound weird. This is the first time I'm gonna be using Kangaskhan. I actually don't know a lot what you can do. I knew it was notorious with its Mega Evolution. I believe it can learn some priority moves like Fake Out and Sucker Punch, but I don't know how useful that is with Psychic Terrain up. Probably learns a good normal type Stab, maybe Double Edge or Body Slam to get that moves up. It can learn Scrappy. I'm sorry, its ability is Scrappy. I remember that, and so it can't be intimidated, which can be useful. Can learn Power Up Punch, so maybe it could boost its attack while damaging. Yeah. So again, I don't really know what to do with Kangaskhan. Given its stats, I thought it'd be more of a defensive Pokemon. Maybe it is. Maybe only Mega Kangaskhan is offensive. So this is gonna be a Pokemon that I'm gonna explore to use. I guess there's not much I can say about this. So for my second to last Pokemon, I was looking at originally I wanted to get Magneton at but that got sniped a little. I think one round before this. And so originally I drafted a Togedemaru, and that was just because it was a electric and steel type, just like Magneton. But unfortunately I did drop it because I don't know if I actually said Scrafty was replacing Sneasel, and even though Sneasel was a dark type like Scrafty, Sneasel was also doing something else that Scrafty could not fulfill, and that is it was also covering a speed gap. One that bridges Celebi and Noivern. So I needed a fast electric type, and I saw one that was pretty cheap. And for a change, it's a Pokemon I have used before. so uh, so my next Pokemon is actually Raichu. I know I drafted it last season. It only came out one match, didn't do so well, but hopefully it will do better this season. Well, I get more use out of it this season. Um, it was incredible for me in NBL season 2, so I'll give Raichu a better doubt that last season I just probably could not fit it in my team. That's it. Hopefully it fits this team a little bit better. Like I said, it's there to cover the Noivern Celebi gap, speed gap. So, but it does learn some good moves. I think it gives you another Volt Switcher. I'm sorry, Volt Turner. It's the only Pokemon that here I can learn Volt Switch. You can learn some good coverage moves: Grass Knot, Surf, Focus Blast. So yeah, it's I think a pretty solid Pokemon in my opinion. And for my last Pokemon, I originally had Aurorus. Why did I draft Aurorus? It's just because it was last pick. I think what I really wanted got sniped, and all the backups I wanted got sniped. And I thought to myself, you know what? I know there's going to be a grace period. I'm just going to draft a random Pokemon and deal with it once the grace period starts. And so that's how I got Aurorus. But I did replace this Aurorus with Vaporeon. Vaporeon, I think, was Vaporeon is my favorite Pokemon. Out of every single Pokemon that currently exists, Vaporeon's my favorite. Just because of the design, just for nostalgia purposes with the some of the early games. Yeah, I think Vaporeon is just a great Pokemon. It is one of the. It's a bulky water, even though it has a pretty low base defense stats. Main reason I'm getting Vaporeon is because of Wish. I think with my team, I think I'm building around Tapu Lele pretty well, but I'm kind of leaving. Besides Celebi, I'm leaving Heatran a bit hanging. I think I should try to Heatran is a threat, and I should try to support it a bit more. And so I went with Vaporeon. I think Vaporeon with its Wish support can keep Heatran healthy. Actually, it could keep any of my Pokemon healthy. It also has the Heal Bell. It can learn Haze. Can it learn Haze? I think it can learn Haze. But it also can, shore up its bad defenses with Acid Armor. And it's one of the water Pokemon that get Flip Turn, so another possible slow Flip Turner. So I'm excited to have Vaporeon on the team. I haven't used Vaporeon in a while in the draft league, so yeah, this is one of the I'm excited to have. I've gone on a little bit long, but quicker than I thought I would. So that's my full team. Again, a lot of these Pokemons are Pokemons I've using for the first time. So I'm using Noivern, Marini. I'm gonna say, okay, I'll put Scrafty aside just because I used Scraggy last season. Wartortle, Kangaskhan, I'm using for the very first time. I have little experience with Celebi and Scrafty and Mudbray. And Tapu I haven't used. Not only have I never used, I've never seen it being used before. So I have no. So this is gonna be, I think, an interesting season for me. It's gonna be just about learning how to use my Pokemon. And hopefully I learn fast because this is going to be a tough season. We have some really strong coaches. And I think that's a good segue into plugging them again. You know, check out the other coaches that I know some have already left analysis videos on their end. So then I'm sure that the rest will leave theirs. Yeah, so check them out. The link to their channels in the description below. Our first the schedule got released today, and our first week match is going to be a fellow Australian and returning coach, the Willa. Oh no, not Willa Boomers. It's Cerulean City Mewtwo's. They used to be the Willa Boomers, but it's Luke Harry. Hopefully, we won last time against him. And hopefully we can repeat that again. So yeah, and so until that, if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like. If you want to follow my progress through this league, I think the best thing to do is to subscribe to this channel. But until next time, hope you guys having a great day. See, and yeah, see ya.